So you don't have the budget for an expensive Toyota. I have the answer sitting right in front of me. Let's get started. So I've gotten lots of emails, people saying, hey, I'm looking at this or that car. I really can't afford the Toyota. I'm in the $3,000 to $5,000, maybe a little more range. Toyota's really just not within my budget. There is another option. That is called the Panther platform, made by Ford Motor Company. No, it's not sporty. No, it doesn't look like a million miles an hour sitting still. It's probably not going to win you any points on a date. However, if your major demand that you need out of a car is that you have a family, it's got to be dead reliable, and you really don't have time or budget for $3,000 and $5,000 repairs every 6 months, this is, as far as the platform, the best car you can buy outside of a Toyota. The Buick LeSabres with the 3.8 are right there with this thing, but they don't ride as good. These are so comfortable. This is also rear-wheel drive, and it is bulletproof. I mean bulletproof. These can be found as a Ford Crown Victoria, or like this, a Mercury Grand Marquis, or a Lincoln Towncar. This one happens to be a 2002. They had these from the mid-90s all the way up. I think they even had them to 2010, 2011. There's also a reason why law enforcement used this platform for their vehicles for a very long time. They're cheap to fix. They hardly ever break down as far as a major repair. This is actually Euro-Asian Bob's. This is another one of his Euro-Asian Bob strikes again. This thing only has 36,000 miles on it and is a 2002. It literally smells and drives and looks brand new right off the factory assembly line or right out of the showroom. It is that nice. We'll take a look at it here in a minute. But for the money, you cannot buy a more reliable car unless you jump into a Buick LeSabre or something like that we've talked about in previous videos. Those are almost equally bulletproof, like I mentioned. But wait till we look at the inside. It's so nice. Let's take a look around this thing. Many of us have seen this grille or this headlights in our rearview mirror. There is literally millions of these cars or this platform on the road. They are everywhere.
And they scared the crap out of a lot of people if they had lights on top of them.
Yeah, sometimes people mistake these for a law enforcement vehicle. There's still some of these being used here or there, but not as many. They still have some on the road. As we go around to the side, you can see it has the Mercury wheels. It looks like spoke wheels, but they're actually cast aluminum. They look really, really nice. As we're going around this car, you're going to notice the paint is flawless. The body is flawless. There is no dents, no scratches, no fade, nothing. This is the LS model, and as you can see down that side, equally as perfect. Let's go ahead and jump under the hood. Here is our 4.6 liter single overhead cam engine. They don't put out tons and tons of power, but they're in the mid 200s, 220, 230, somewhere around in there. I don't know the exact number. You guys in the comments can let us know the exact numbers on this car. But as you can see, the water pump is literally a 30-minute job. Take the belt off, take the pulley off, a little circle of bolts, and poof, it comes right off. Alternator, it can't get any easier than that, guys. It really can't. It's literally right there for you to change. The belt is easy to change if it comes off or something's wrong. The power steering on the right down there is a little bit more difficult. You probably should go under the car to work on that. But then again, it's still not that hard. The AC compressor is not too hard to get to either. It's on the passenger side of the engine. Look at that. We don't even have to tear our dash apart to do a blower motor. It's right there. Our evaporator core is not inside the dash. It's right here. We would have to pull the dash, however, to do the heater core, but at least 2 out of the 3 items that can be a major pain are right here in the engine bay. A lot of the fuses, relays, the battery, everything's easy to get to. All 8 of our ignition coils are also easy to get to. These are the years where the spark plugs can cause issues with the threads, so you want to be careful. But other than that, this is about as bulletproof you can get with an engine other than the Buick 3.8. Here's our brake master cylinder, brake booster, cruise control module, all very easy to get to. If you have a radiator leak, you just take this plastic piece off. The radiator is pretty easy to disconnect and it just comes straight out right here. If you're somewhat mechanically inclined, other than the price of the parts at your favorite parts store, you can keep these things on the road and do your own work. It is so easy. So that's pretty much what's going on under the engine bay. As you can see, this thing is in brand new condition. The wiring harnesses, the hoses, everything is as it left the factory. So let's go ahead and let you guys take a look at the interior. It is so nice. I wish you guys could smell it when Mrs. Wizard is showing it to you. It is literally a new car.
Okay, ladies and gents. This is one of those glorious times when you're married to someone and they're wrong. It is not 36,000 miles. It is 34,222 miles. He was almost 2,000 miles off. But isn't this a beautiful? Look at that gauge cluster. Very simple, very easy to use because again, this is a car that was made for that older person market. And okay, it's a grandpa car. As we move up to the dash, you'll see everything's in great condition, and I guess they're very concerned about weather and altitude because they've put an altimeter and barometer in here as well. Kind of interesting, but again, everything is in immaculate shape. Looking fabulous everywhere. It does say on there that this is the Grand Marquis LS Precision Track Edition. Looking fabulous. As we get to our radio, you'll see that it is very simple to use. Big buttons, can't miss where you're pushing, no infotainment system. Every button is actually, you push it, not just a screen where you hope it pushes when you're bouncing down the road. It does have a very simple little clock there and our very easy to access HVAC controls. As we move down, you'll see we have a lovely little hidey hole there and our very simple to use gear selector. We do have staggered cups. So it makes it easier when you're trying to go down the road and not bump into them. Everything is in perfect shape, and oh, looks like the person that had this before has left somebody who buys this car from Eurasian Bob a few bits to get down the road, I guess, going down those toll roads. You know, Wizard said, I wish you could smell the car. I wish you could feel the seats. These seats are absolutely luxurious. They are very soft. There's no bolster on the sides because you just melt into them. They are very soft, very supple, and very nice ivory color leather. As we move to our door card, you'll see just a lot of ivory coloring over there, but again, it's plastic and it is in great shape. It does have controls for our electric seat as well. As we move to our glove box, you'll see that it has the original owner's manual in there. And it looks like there's not even dust on it. It looks like they never even took it out. As we move to our back seat, it looks like nobody's ever sat back there. This is crazy. For this old of a car, I'm used to seeing cars that have pristine back seats because if you don't have kids or you don't travel with many people, they don't get used a whole lot. But these look like they've never, ever been sat in. It's crazy. So move to our headliner, perfect shape. No Cheeto fingers, no the marks up there, all in great, great shape. One thing that's a little bit different than what we've seen in the past is that we're used to seeing this big block right here that has all this information, you know, buttons to push to get our garage door open and sunglasses holders, and this has a little skinny little tube down through our very simple rear view mirror. Before we end this segment, you'll see that this is definitely made for the older market because it has pedal extenders for the little grandmas who might not be as tall as the grandpas out there of the world. As we enter our steering wheel, nice leather steering wheel, same all the way around. There is not a heavier side to grip here, so you can basically hold it wherever you want. That Mercury wasn't saying thou shalt hold it right here by having that booger section there. No. But again, easy controls right there. You can control our radio, control that cruise. So when you're going down the road, you can be sitting in style, I guess. So I'm curious, everything is so perfect under the hood and in the car. What's it like underneath?
Let's check underneath to see if there's any leaks. A vehicle that's been sitting a long time with low miles, but yet it's a 2002, could have some leaks. Let's see if this thing proves to be as immaculate as we think. Here's our radiator core support. There's hardly any bugs at all in the condenser. Nice and clean. Even our little guard here, little scraper, right, that's what I call them, is in actually pretty good shape. Very little scrapes. As we come to the back side, we can see it does have an electric fan instead of a clutch fan or a belt-driven fan. The radiator looks brand new. No leaks there. We look at our oil pan and all the front of the engine, dry as a bone. One thing that can leak on older vehicles with low miles is the steering gearbox. We see nothing coming out of there. It's dry as well. Let's check our wheels, brakes. Brakes are 60-70%. Sway bar link is good. The boot does look a little torn, but I wouldn't even mess with it if it's not clunking. It's just not even worth messing with. Let's see if anything's loose this way. Nothing. Our shock is nice and dry. Go check the other side. Everything looks good on that side as well. Nothing loose. The back of the oil pan where there could be a rear main seal leak, there's nothing. Again, it's dry. No valve cover gaskets leaking. Transmission has no leaks. Even the bolts have the original yellow plating on them, just like it left the factory. Here we have our output seal on the transmission. Where there could be a leak, there's not. U-joint is good. Interesting is our factory exhaust has an H-pipe built in. Pretty cool. There's our mufflers. Everything looks intact there, all stock. U-joint's good. As we come to the back, you can see that it does have air ride in the back. There is no leaf springs or coil springs to where this would be a load leveling system. It actually is the spring. It's an air spring. So it's air suspension in the back, which means it floats down the road. We'll check the shocks here. They're nice and dry. Our sway bar links are good. Brakes are like 70 or 80% remaining. Nothing loose or leaking there. Differential pinion seal is not leaking. The axle is not leaking. The rear plate is not leaking. Brakes over here is good. Sway bar link is good. Shock is dry. Here we have our charcoal canister protected by a nice shield there, which is very nice. A lot of cars just have it out in the open. As you can see as we looked, everything is very simple. There's nothing complex or crazy on this car. It's just like a basic rear-wheel drive perimeter frame vehicle. And also, as you saw, it basically looks brand new under here. Let's check the tires real quick and we'll get this thing on the ground. The tires, although they look brand new and they probably are not dangerous, they are almost 10 or 11 years old. You can see 01 of 12. So it might need some tires at some point here soon. But they don't look weather checked, they don't look cracked, they actually look nice. But due to the age, it may need some tires. Let's get this thing on the ground. So to all those who are sending emails saying, hey, I'm looking at this Audi, really nice Audi, or this BMW. No. Hey, I'm looking at this Land Rover, I'm looking for something reliable. No. So I would recommend a Toyota in those situations, and then the common thing is, well, you know, those go for a pretty penny. I really can't afford one of those right now. Right here, here's the answer. Now, some people, you don't know how many times I've heard, oh, I won't be seeing one of those things. It's a grandpa car, which it was. If you go to Eurasian Bob's channel, there's probably going to be a video on this, if not already, explaining the story. And how many times somebody's went ahead and bought the Audi or the BMW or whatever, and a year later they're like, I'm $10,000 into this thing. I should have never bought this car. Was the looks or the appearance worth it? No. So sometimes, especially if you got one of your kids needs a car and you don't want to be fixing it all the time. I'm from a generation where you tell the kid, tough, deal with it. No, it's not pretty, but it's a car. One of the hand-me-down cars that our daughters got was a car we actually named Jarvis. It was, I think, a 2002 Cadillac DeVille. And the complaint was, I look like a grandpa. And you know what I said? I don't care. That's what you're going to drive, or you can go buy your own car. It lasted a long time. It did what it was supposed to do. And as we moved on, they got a different car, and now they're happier. But we talk about that car from time to time, looking back into the past. And the daughter actually says, you know, I complained about that car, but actually it was really nice. I liked that car. I wouldn't mind having another one. So other than the tires, I'll let Eurasian Bob deal with that. The car needs nothing. This car is basically flawless. There's no leaks, nothing needs to be done. The oil change service has already been done. The fluids, we checked them, everything looks good. We have checked this off camera. So $3,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, which you probably won't get this one for that much because this thing is such low miles. This is like a very rare opportunity to basically own a brand new Grand Marquis. No, this one's not going to be that cheap. But there are tons of these Grand Marquis and Crown Vics and Towncars in that price range. If you get one with 100,000, 150,000 miles, you can probably get another 200,000 miles out of it. Yes, a few things will pop up with repairs here or there. No car is perfect. But if you don't have the $50,000, $40,000, $30,000 newer Toyota budget, I really recommend one of these. Thanks, Eurasian Bob, for letting us check out this car. Make sure to check out Mrs. Wizard's Way in the description as well. She's got some new videos out, really good videos on that channel. Check our Amazon affiliates link in the description below as well. There's a lot of things in the description below. All the tools we use in the shop are there for sale. If you buy one, we get a small cut and we really appreciate it. Make sure to hit the subscribe button here as well because we have tons of really good videos coming down the line. Thanks for watching.